So I recognized something when I was listening to the episode where we talked to the crone. She references a seed, but she also talks about it in relation to the daughter.
Yeah.
We didn't even catch it. We were like, a seed? What the fuck are we looking for?
Or is it both?
But I can't help but like go back and think about it. I just don't think Zephan would go and think about it. So I'm probably gonna cut this so that maybe listeners won't catch it either. But I was just like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Like we're focusing on the wrong thing, maybe.
Yeah, I think leave it in there.
Excuse me, ma'am. Have you seen a seed around here?
Yeah. Hello, you decidedly seed-looking woman. Have you seen a seed around here?
I don't know what that entails.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you would look like a
seed-looking. She's a coral. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, you Legend of Zelda-looking character. Give me that propeller leaf.
And I was just like listening to us be like, a seed? Like we just globbed onto that, and Jackson's probably back there like, did y'all even listen at all?
I just said it.
It's fine. I just said it. It's a seed.
Hello, friends. My name is Jackson Chandler, and you're listening to the Sins of the Father podcast.
There is nothing worse than recording an episode and realizing that 1, you weren't recording with the right mic, or 2, all the audio is missing.
Oh, kills me.
Dead.
I would be... Ugh.
Yeah, anybody who listens to this episode and wants to make a podcast, understand that's gonna happen to you. It's gonna happen.
Yep, it will.
There will be a time when one of the players' computer dies, or you get a corrupted file, and it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare on Elm Street.
That it is.
No. That's copyrighted.
Okay, it's a nightmare on
Elf
Birch
Street.
Street.
Elf Street. Elf.
It's a night terror on Birch Street.
Excellent.
It's a bad dream on Birch Avenue.
Perfect.
Straight to DVD.
It's Night Terrors on Oak Court.
There it is. Yeah, that does
There we
sound kind
go.
of creepy, actually. Oak
Night
Court.
Terrors on Oak Court is good. I like it.
That's a future misconceptions
it.
episode.
Stealing it.
Guess I should have dice.
Aha, the shoe is on the other foot, Jackson. Now it is you who does not have dice.
My dice are always within arm's reach of me, though.
It's true.
I drive around
true.
with a set of dice in my glove box.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. He keeps them tied to his belt.
Yeah.
Like an old-fashioned coin purse.
I thought about getting one of those little, like, keychain things that are containers and get one of those little tiny mini dice
Yeah,
sets.
those are liar's dice, though.
Oh, they are. They're
Liar's dice. Those dice are for swindlers and cheats.
I mean, yeah, you just roll the die and then you're like, oh, I need to see what it says. Get real close to it, blocking everyone else's view. Ah, yes, a nat 20.
I don't do that, though. That's
That looks
cheating.
like a 2. Nat 20.
Take me in, Mummy Daddy.
All right.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, listeners. Roll for initiative.
I love it. Ooh, that's a good roll. It's an 18.
19.
9.
I'm a one-upper.
That's right. Do.
I am a mini downer because I rolled a 9.
A 9? Excellent.
9.
9.
9. Top of the round, starting it off, Zephan.
Still
A
angry
large-
about my quarterstaff last time.
Yeah, it was shattered, and now you're standing face to face with a large reptilian mummified creature.
Hey.
Yeah.
We gonna do what all of you expect me to do.
Yeah, we are.
Say the line.
Don't say it.
Say it.
And cast Eldritch Blast.
Yeah!
Yes, Lord. I hate when I'm first, because that's when I prep. I usually prep when I'm like second or third. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
So what was the
So
total?
15. 15.
You just barely hit it.
Oh, god damn it.
It seems quite nimble.
He's nimble. Okay,
So roll damage.
let me give you that damage.
He is a slippery, dusty, mummified snake.
Delicious, delicious damage. Ugh. Oh, god. 4. Zephan whips out his Book of Shadows, holds it out in front of him, moves his right hand into the air, down near his hip, and back up really quickly, and up from the ground shoots at an extremely quick speed tentacles, and they whip at this mummy. These tentacles are a dark, mottled, ugly, like bottom of the sea green. As they whip, and you can hear this sort of, his mouth's moving, but these sounds don't sound like his voice. They sound like a deeper, darker sound, and it sort of echoes throughout the room. Quite disorienting.
For people that haven't seen him do this before.
Yes.
Galas and Bibanise just think, he's doing his thing. It's fine. We don't question it.
So how close... So we were right up next to this thing, right? When it started coming out, right?
Yes, and I believe you did say you had, started to back up. So I'd say there's at least, 5 to 10 feet between you and the creature. So it's not right up on you.
As he casts... Well, let me say this. As my bonus action, I'm going to move as far away as I can from him, given that I'm sure there's a ton of treasure and bullcorn in the way in this room, right?
It's mostly off to the corners, or there's a small inlet that has, bejeweled, statuettes and things. But
okay.
there's plenty of room to maneuver around if you need to.
Okay, so we're not going to be, Aladining over these piles of gold and such.
That is possible if you get, driven into one of the corners.
Okay.
So yeah, you create some more distance. Galas, it is now your turn.
Galas has armfuls of gold. He's gonna turn around when the thing makes noise and starts coming after him. And oh no! I drop the gold. I'm gonna use Misty Step as a bonus action to teleport behind him. So I hop in my barrel, the barrel spins around and then disappears, appears behind him, I pop up out of it, and as I jump out of the barrel, I'm going to use Shocking Grasp and just kind of grab him, touch my hand to his back. And I rolled a 15 to hit.
That hits, yes. You make contact with nice, rotten snake.
Yes, it's fantastic. 7 damage.
Attaboy.
It's a good hit. You see a little bit of, wrapping and stuff get singed and burnt on its back as it turns around and snarls at you.
Yes.
It is now the mummy's turn. I'm going to assume a 24 hits you.
Yeah. Okay. Only a lot. Almost double.
As it turns around, it lashes towards you in a quick blur and wraps around you and begins to constrict you.
Oh dear.
Yes. Snack mummy. You're going to take 4 bludgeoning damage.
Ouch.
And you are now grappled. So, Bibanise, it is your go.
Seeing this mummy wrap around his friend and herdmate Galas. Bibanise's ears flare out to the side, his trunk raises up, and he lets out this bellow that maybe rocks the foundations of this pyramid. And he already had his shield out and his warhammer out, and he is going to charge tusks down at this thing. And as he is charging, he is going to cast Searing Smite at 2nd level. And so as he does this, like, there is a burst of embers around the tip of his warhammer, and it looks like a log that has started to cinder and break apart in fire. And so he just raises up, and he is going to come down with all the force of this warhammer on top of this mummy. Hey, that's not bad. That is an 18 to hit.
You definitely hit it, yes.
Yes, thank God. God, why do you hate me, God? He takes.
It's not that I hate you.
He takes 3 bludgeoning damage from the stupid warhammer. He takes an additional 9 damage from the fire. And so the way it works is, at the start of each of its turns until the spell ends, the target must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 1d6 fire damage. On a successful save, the spell ends. And it is concentration, so I'm holding concentration on that. But yeah, I just charge forward and I lay into this thing with all the fiery might of my warhammer.
Unfortunately, it manages to maintain its grapple.
No!
Ugh.
But barely. You all hear the clinking of like a rush of gold coins scattering across the floor as you see in one of the corners of this room, out from under the pile of treasure, a large Loxodon corpse rises up. Bits of skeleton and rot in its face as it pulls out a large mace.
Alright.
Things just got real.
Mm-hmm. Well done.
Top of the round, Zephan, it's your turn.
Zephan was still without his spellbook out, moves his hand in the air above his head in like a circular motion, and as he does, this sort of green, these green tentacles start to kind of come out of the air and cover his body with a sort of what looks like armor and a sort of almost Sailor Moon-esque thing without the beautiful, cute music and skirts and bows. And it wraps around him. He has cast Mage Armor.
Ah, excellent.
Realizing there's a huge Loxodon now. It's a good situation. He will, as he's doing this, look over at Bibanise, and as soon as the Mage Armor is cast, he's going to point at the thing and say, Bibanise, I think this is a job for you.
You're pointing at the Loxodon?
Yeah.
That's racist.
I just imagine them both like stomping and like looking at each other.
They're gonna lock tusks in a battle of strength.
That would honestly be dope.
Alright. Galas, it's your turn.
Yes, so I'm grappled.
Yes.
I am going to... So he's like wrapped around my torso, I would say. So I'm going to slam my fins together and use a thunder wave spell. He has to make a Constitution saving throw.
Do I as well?
Yeah, you're 15 feet of me, aren't you?
Yeah, you just ran up and hit it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, but yes. I'm going to spend a sorcery point to make him automatically succeed on the saving throw. So he doesn't move and he takes half damage.
Thanks, bud.
I'm assuming it fails with a 10.
It does. It has to pass a 12. It's 11 damage, thunder damage, and pushes both of them 10 feet away from me, and it breaks the grapple. I read the thing on it.
Yeah. There's a big slam echoing. Everyone has tinnitus now. The mummy is sent reeling into the treasure on the side of the room, clattering statuettes and jewels and breaking stuff as it recoils back to its feet.
And as a bonus action, I am going to use my tempestuous magic, and I'm going to just fly 10 feet to the side, like away from both of the enemies.
Alright, that brings us to the mummy's turn.
It does need to roll just a reminder, Constitution 12? Yeah, Constitution 12.
Okay. It rolled a 15. God! It does succeed.
It is no longer on fire.
And you can tell that it obviously recognizes one of the bigger threats in the room, the big Loxodon. It is going to slither up to you, Bibanise, and it is going to bare its fangs at you and attempt to bite you.
Yeah.
A 15.
A 15 does not hit.
Yes.
Very nice.
Does it have any bonus action stuff? No, it doesn't. So, Bibanise, that brings us to your turn.
I look over my shoulder at Zephan, and then I look over my shoulder at the Loxodon, and then I look at the mummy, and with my ear still flared, trunk still held up, I'm going to charge at the mummy and not at the Loxodon. But as I do charge, I cast Channel Divinity and do Turn Undead. So both the mummy and the Loxodon must make a Wisdom 12 saving throw.
So the mummy passed, but the Loxodon did not.
Yeah, it recognizes. It knows who I am. I'm Bibanise. Okay, so as I'm charging, I bellow out with my trumpet, scaring this Loxodon, and then I'm going to, as a bonus action, cast Spiritual Weapon right behind the mummy, and it's going to manifest as a glowing blue spectral, just giant maul. I'm going to hit that mummy with it. I rolled a... come on, man. I rolled an 8 to hit.
You're at the mummy, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you're engaged with it, and you summon the sword on the other side, so technically it's flanked. So you have advantage.
Amazing. That is much better. That's an 18.
Heck yeah.
That does hit.
Yes. Thank you for advantage.
Dungeon Daddy loves us.
Sometimes.
And he will take 7 force damage.
I have to be at least a little fair. Already. As it slams into its back and it lets out just a ungodly hiss screech. And it bears its venom dripping fangs at you once again. You can tell it does not like you.
I am not scared of you.
It is the Loxodon's turn. What are the effects of your turn?
He is frightened of me for 1 minute, or until it takes any damage. It spends its turn trying to move as far away from me as it can. It cannot willingly move to a space within 30 feet of you. It also cannot take reactions. For its action, it can only use the dash action or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. If there is nowhere to move, the creature can use the dodge action.
So it is going to rush to the other side of the room, away from you. It would now be on the same side of the room as you and Zephan, but it is going to use its action to do the dodge action, because it is under the effects of Turn Undead. As you see it frantically, almost cowering in one corner, ready to run away at the earliest convenience. Back to the top of the round, Zephan.
Zephan, feeling a little bit frustrated that told Bibanise to do something and he didn't do it, but like being like, I kind of, whatever. Like, Zephan is going to take his hand up in the air and start making this sort of pulsing motion with it. And as he does, you hear this bell start to toll. It's quiet. It starts out quiet and slowly starts to get louder as he sort of tosses it like a mace ball, this energy that's building, and he tosses it at the mummy. He casts Toll of the Dead. Target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 1d8 necrotic unless he has missing any hit points. Instead, he takes 1d12 necrotic damage.
It rolled a 1.
Yeah, wow. That was happy gibberish. So 12.
Ooh.
So you see the brackish green necrotic energy pulse across the mummy, and it seems unaffected by it.
Oh, it's necrotic damage.
Oh no.
Oh well, now we know.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah,
Do
dude.
be like that sometimes.
Galas, it is your turn.
So Galas is going to cast Alter Self.
Okay. I like where this is going.
He has thumbs. He has fins, but they're like webbed hands. Okay.
Yeah.
So he just sticks his thumb in his mouth and starts inflating. And as he inflates, his spines get sharp and just straight out like a puffer fish almost. So he just starts inflating a little bit, and then he is going to gain natural weapons of spines that are considered magic and have +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls. That's my action, so I'm just going to sit. I just cast Alter Self and I started inflating.
After the blow you just dealt to it with a spiritual weapon, Bibanise, you see the mummy. You see almost a faint purple aura start to build around it. As it glares at you, you have to make a Wisdom 15 spell save.
Whew. Is this being charmed or frightened?
This is being frightened, yes.
Yes, I
It is
have
casting
advantage.
fear.
Okay, I have advantage on that.
Yes.
The first roll is a 10. Hey, that's a 19 plus 4 is a 23.
So you just, without even thinking about it, shrug off the effects of its fear spell as you see it ready itself for whatever you're about to do to it, because it is your turn.
As Bibanise shrugs off this fear that almost took seed in his mind, he just stomps his foot once and says, "You should be afraid of me." And I pump my fist down once and reignite the hammer, casting Searing Smite at first level this time as a bonus action. And then I swing my warhammer at him. Does a 16 hit?
It does in fact hit.
Yes. And he takes 8 bludgeoning damage from the hammer, and 1d6, 3 damage from fire.
It's not looking too hot, but
Well,
it is still raring to fight.
actually, Jackson, it does look very hot because it is ignited in flames.
All right.
Alright, okay, alright.
Alright. So, being interlocked in combat with this mummy on one side of the sarcophagus, it is now the Loxodon's turn, and it is going to move into one of the inlets of the room and break line of sight with you, Bibanise.
Oh, does that...
And now it gets to roll a wisdom save to break the effects of being frightened.
I see.
It failed, so that's its turn.
It's gonna cower in a hole.
It's going to cower in the corner. Back to the top, Zephan.
So, but it's in my line of sight, right?
It's like right around the corner from you. If you took like one step, you'd be able to see it.
Okie doke. I'm really mad that I broke my quarterstaff, because I have so many cool things I can do with it, but I can't do any of them. Broke it trying to save my fish friend.
Hey, you did save me though.
I know it. Zephan, moving his right hand in a circular motion next to his face, energy starts to sort of ball there. Again, you hear these deep whispers that are too deep and sound too sort of almost not demonic, but very deep speech for it to be coming from him. And he twists his hand, and this column of tentacles comes out of it and heads directly for the Loxodon. He's using Ray of Enfeeblement. I gotta make a ranged spell attack. 15.
That does in fact hit.
Alrighty. Make a ranged spell attack and start. On a hit, the target deals only half damage with weapon attacks that use strength until the spells end.
Does it take any damage?
No.
And how long does the spell last?
Up to 1 minute.
Okay. Cool.
We got that crowd control, man.
Its frighten has not broken because it has not taken damage.
True.
Nice.
Fantastic.
So, on to you, Galas.
All right. Galas is going to prop his barrel up where it's facing the mummy, and he's going to just wedge his legs in the back of it. He is wedged in there. He puffs himself up as big as he can. Geyser! And the barrel starts to swell. And then he and 30 gallons of water in a geyser blast out of the barrel straight at the mummy. So that's a bonus action. The mummy needs to make a DC 13 strength saving throw.
It rolled a 17.
Alright, so it does not take damage and does not fall prone. But as my main action, I'm going to make a unarmed strike with my spines by just being blasted into him and spinning into him with spines. So that is going to be that's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
And I'm going to deal 6 damage.
Well, now it's its turn.
Mm-hmm.
And you stuck into the side of it now.
Yes.
It needs to make a Constitution 12 saving throw for the Searing Smite damage.
Yeah.
Just a reminder.
Constitution. Hey, it total was a 22.
God.
I can roll for saves. I can't roll for anything else, though. Its flames got put out from the geyser of water blasting into it.
That's fair.
I accept
That's fair.
You can see, Bibanise, you've been the one fighting it for the most part, up close in its face. It seems to be getting more feral as it is being wounded and taking damage. It is going to multi-attack. It is going to first bare its fangs and attempt to bite you, Bibanise. A 22 to hit.
That hits.
For 10 piercing damage. And then it feels like your blood is boiling as you take 7 poison damage. It is then going to attempt to constrict Galas.
Okay.
Just slammed into
He's
it.
gonna squeeze a bunch of spines, but okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna take extra damage for that, though.
I know. Even though it should.
And it's not going to grab ya.
Aha.
Because it rolled a 4.
Woohoo!
So, what is an 11, I don't think, hits you.
No.
Bibanise. It's your turn.
Yeah, that hurt. That was a whole lot of damage. Bibanise kind of sways on his back feet. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds as a 3rd level spell on myself to keep me in the fight. And I heal myself for 15 damage. And then with my bonus action, I'm going to hit it with the spiritual weapon that is still up. Well, the first one's a 19.
That hits.
Well, there you go. And he will take 10 force damage.
Yeah, it's looking rough. It's starting to fall apart. But it's still standing. As of now. Back to the Minotaur. It's going to try and break out of the frighten again.
It will try.
It has been removed from this fight for 4 full rounds. What was the DC?
12.
It succeeded finally.
Well,
Seems to brush off the fear and ready itself for combat. But that was its action. So all it's going to do is move up into melee range of Zephan, who is the closest person to it.
Hey.
And Zephan, it's now your turn.
Hey. What I would like to do is look and see if in any of these riches and treasures abound around us, are there any weapons?
what she's really asking, is there a quarterstaff in this treasury?
A quarterstaff or a short sword?
Let me decide. Let the dice decide.
Would it be a free action for me to chuck a dagger to him?
I have a dagger. I just wanted something with a little more damage.
Okay. Odd or even?
Odd.
You do find. You see it sticking out of the treasures next to you. What looks to be some kind of ornate quarterstaff.
He pushes his sleeve up his arm and flourishes his hand, and on his arm, wrapped around it, is this sort of claw. It's like a mixture between a claw and a tentacle. It's like some sort of otherworldly looking. It looks like a meaty claw, a big meaty claw, if you would.
A big meaty claw.
When he flourishes it and points it toward that quarterstaff, as he sees it glint out of the corner of his eye, this claw sort of whips off of his arm and turns into like what looks like flesh, and it's the same color as his own skin, this sort of black color. And the claw grabs this quarterstaff, wrenches it out, and then it flourishes the weapon and swings it on the Loxodon. So this is his Eldritch Claw tattoo.
Love it.
So what this is going to do is... So the Eldritch Maul works as a bonus action to empower... So you can empower my tattoo as a bonus action. For the duration of your melee weapon attacks can reach up to a target up to 30 feet away from you as tentacles of ink launch your weapon or unarmed strike towards the target. Your melee attacks deal an extra 1d6 force damage on a hit. So let me see.
Dope.
Dope.
Yeah. Cool.
Not a strong boy. 13? Does that hit?
That does, in fact, hit.
Nice.
Nice. So 5 and 2 is 7.
7 damage.
Damage.
Hey, that's pretty good. It's hurt.
Yay.
Not really.
Not too bad.
Not too bad, but it has been hit now.
Woo! Take some damage.
Yeah. Alrighty. Galas, you're up.
So Galas is sticking out of this mummy, just like attached via spines. He is going to tense up and kind of like go fetal position, and electricity is going to flow through his spines into the mummy, and he's going to use shocking grasp like that.
I love it so much. We're doing these ridiculous things with all these spells. It's going to be
It's
so hard to edit,
amazing.
but I love it so much.
All right, and that is gonna be a 16 to hit.
That does in fact hit.
Okay, and it's gonna deal 3 damage.
3 damage.
It's something.
You did a little Blanca ball.
Yeah.
I love it.
That brings us to the mummy's turn. It's going to attack Bibanise
Bring it.
with a bite attack. A 16.
Does not hit.
Haha.
Ekans uses bite.
Ekans.
It's going to then use its constrict attack on you, Bibanise.
Bring
Oh.
It also didn't hit.
Lord almighty.
I rolled worse on that one.
Oh, man.
Bibanise, it's your turn.
Deadly encounter, you say?
Well, when it hit him, it did a lot of damage.
Yeah, that
Show
was
enough,
scary.
You right.
That was
It has
very
the
scary.
potentiality.
Yeah, so Bibanise buffets this thing's attack off with his shield, and then with his other hand he's gonna come across his jaw with the warhammer. And I do still have advantage on these attacks, correct?
Yes, it is still flanked
Okay.
by 2 party members now.
Yes. So
Because
that,
Galas is sticking out of its back.
yeah. I rolled a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
And he, oh my god, why? That's 3 bludgeoning damage. And then as I come across his jaw with the warhammer, he takes 3 bludgeoning damage. And then with my fingers that are holding the shield, I twitch 2 fingers. And the spiritual weapon charges forward as if Thor himself had thrown it and bashes itself into the back of this thing's head. So that first roll was a 7. This one is... It's a natural 20! And that means he takes 5, 10, 12 force damage.
Nice.
You slam your hammer into the front of it, and as its head reels back, you call your spiritual weapon to you, and the impact of it blows through the mummy's head, scattering rotten flesh and bone everywhere as you stand there over its fallen corpse with a hammer in each hand. He's dead.
Metal.
Hello friends, and welcome to episode 5 of Sins of the Father, Trove of the Iron Tyrant. I'm your Dungeon Master, Jackson Chandler. I'd like to say thank you to our new patron, Celeste, and an additional thank you to Craig Frankham, who recently upgraded their pledge. With that, we have broken the 400 milestone on our Patreon once again, and are on our way to the $500 milestone, where we will be giving our wonderful editors, such as Marlo, a pay raise, as well as releasing a merch store for all your misconceptions and Sins of the Father needs. Don't forget to support us on iTunes. If you leave us a review, send us a copy of it to misconceptionspod@gmail.com to receive a free Sins of the Father decal. That's all for now. Let's get back to the episode.
And then I slowly turn to face the Loxodon skeleton, and I charge towards it. That is my turn.
Excellent. You're now engaged with it because it wasn't that far away.
Oh, okay.
It is now its turn, and it is going to... What all actions do you have since you actually get to do something now? Okay, it is going to swing its mace down at you, Zephan.
I don't like that.
I don't like it. I don't allow it.
I'm gonna go on record and say I don't approve.
I don't like it.
Does a 15 hit you?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. I get to do some damage.
Oh God.
Zephan is not very bulky, so this could
Oh
be
no!
Uh-oh.
Oh
You
no.
take 19 damage.
Are you shitting me?
Is Zephan
Oh
dead?
my God. No. No, I have 30 hit points.
Oh, good.
I think I took 1 damage somewhere along the line.
Okay.
But
It was the poison. In the hallway.
poison for Cusco.
The poison for
Poison.
Cusco.
Cusco's
Poison.
Oh,
that
I'm at
poison?
11 hit points, guys.
That's a lot.
Deadly.
So I imagine as it swings and it hits Zephan, given how much damage it did, I think it hits him on the side of the head. And nearly, like, it's gore on the side of his face. As it just has raked his skin across his cheek.
And it's that, like, Zephan is, you're blinking, and the room is just spinning
Yeah.
as you somehow manage to stay standing.
Oh, wait.
Oh?
Didn't I do something that made him deal half damage?
Oh, he takes half
did.
damage. That's right. Wait,
Jackson's like,
Maybe.
dang it.
Clutch.
is maintaining concentration a action or a bonus action?
Yikes, let me look. What was
Because
Brandon's
you made a melee attack against him.
It is.
Oh, it can make a Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns against the spell. We haven't been doing that, have we?
I mean, it's only had one turn.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it live. So instead
We're doing
of
it live.
19 damage, you take 9.
Oh, thank God. I did a good
Now
thing.
you have to make a concentration check.
That's what I thought.
Yui.
What do you add to that?
Constitution saving throw.
10.
The DC was 10, so you maintain concentration.
Oh, buddy, even though I got hit in the face with a Morning Star.
It is now going to make a Constitution saving throw to see if the spell ends. It did not.
Wow.
Rolled a 4.
What? I still keep my previous statement, though. It hits him across the face and just, like, scrapes deep into his cheek meat.
There you go.
Good old cheek meat.
Ow, my cheek meat!
That brings us to your turn, Zephan.
Yay, yay. So dazed and reeling from being hit basically across the cheek with a deadly weapon, Zephan lets out this sort of roar. It's not like what a roar I'm sure from Bibanise would sound like and be super scary, but it's like Ugh! He flips around and casts Eldritch Blast. Look at that. Figure he's angry, and you know, as a warlock you go back to your roots, right?
Of course, yes.
So 14.
That does hit.
Yay. 2.
2 damage.
He's like holding his cheek. He's dropped his spellbook and is holding his cheek with his other hand, like, and it's bleeding through his hand between his fingers and stuff.
Gallus, you're up.
All right. So Galas is going to... He sticks his fin in his mouth and slobbers it real good. And then he just kind of shakes it, and a shard of ice shaped like a fish flies forward, and he's casting Ice Knife. He is going to cast it with Careful Spell so that he doesn't explode ice on his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put your slobber ice on me, bud.
Yeah.
It's the snack that does not smile back.
Correct.
Ice knife.
Ice Knife. The snack that does not smile back. Alrighty. So it's gonna be a hit roll of 22.
Yeah. I'd say that's a resounding hit. It has an AC of 12.
Right. It deals 13 damage. Oh, it has to make a dex save, I'm sorry.
I rolled for it. It rolled an 8.
Okay, then yeah.
Like total 8.
Yeah, it didn't beat a 12.
Yeah.
So the fish goes into it and then expands like I did and just sunk.
Puffer fish.
Yes.
Are you moving or anything?
You know, that was a first level spell. So I am going to use my bonus action to fly 10 feet towards him.
You can be engaged with in melee if you want to.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. You are engaged in melee with it.
Awesome.
Mommy is dead. So Bibanise.
Bibanise, seeing his friend and herdmate Zephan just get whacked across the face, lets out another bellow and charges with his head forward. And he's going to come across this guy's face, or skull, with his warhammer.
Okay.
Do I have advantage on these?
Yeah. It is now surrounded on 3 sides.
Okay, so first one's a 17.
And I'm assuming your spiritual weapon is also going to move over here at some point.
Yeah, so I was going to describe me hitting across the face and then letting go of the hammer to let it go behind him. So the warhammer is a 22 to hit.
Yep.
And that is only 4 damage. And then after I hit him with that, I'm going to release the spiritual weapon from my grip and send it around to his backside and hit him, hopefully. Ooh, that one was a 7. Next one is a 17.
That hits.
4 damage.
Bam. Boom. Bam. It's looking a little roughed up. It's now its turn. It doesn't have a whirlwind attack, so don't worry.
See ya!
But it is completely surrounded now.
Yeah.
It's an undead monster. Bibanise has hit it, and Bibanise does seem like the biggest threat here,
Yes.
I would say. So it targets you.
Yes, focus.
Probably not gonna hit. With a 9 to hit.
That does not hit.
It is now going to do a constitution to see if the spell ends on it. A 5 does not succeed.
This combat has been just a bad dice day.
So, top of the round, Zephan, it's your turn.
Oh my god.
You know that the next combat we have is
He's gonna
Jackson's
ramp
just
it
gonna
up.
roll fire, and we're gonna be murderated.
Oh yeah, it's because I'm sticking to this set of dice. I'm gonna pull out another set of dice.
Are you gonna pull out the player killer?
Mayhaps.
Hey. So is everybody within 10 feet of him?
We're all 5
Yeah,
feet from him.
Like
Oh, yeah, 'cause we're
in
on
melee
gauge.
combat, just beating him from every side.
Or maybe, you know what?
Do it.
Zephan is dazed. He has been whacked across the face. He is over it.
That's fair.
I'm gonna take it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna take it from a role-playing perspective and say he's gonna do it.
Go for it.
So he lets out this another loud roar, but instead of it being his normal roar that you heard in the last one, it's this like guttural, horrible sound that sounds almost demonic or something. And it like rings out within a 10-foot radius of the Loxodon. And everyone has to pass a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. I rolled a 19.
You passed.
15.
You passed.
I rolled a 3.
Oh my god.
Yikes! 14 damage.
Ooh.
Everyone else takes 7.
Okay.
Hope that doesn't kill anybody.
What
No.
type of damage was this?
Thunder damage.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, this is shatter. So,
I see.
So we're all deaf.
everybody else, you guys, my lovely party members take 7 damage, but he takes 14. He's gonna, like, as soon as he casts it, he looks around and realizes his friends took some damage, and it's like,
Crap.
kind of like stumbles back like a few feet. Like, oh shit, I fucked up, but
Oh, you're backing off.
Galas, since you're not actively fighting this thing as of right now,
Uh-huh.
Bibanise has exchanged blows with it. Roll me a perception check after that shatter goes off.
Okay. Oh god. That's not a good thing. I don't like this. I don't like this. 4!
4! You You notice nothing out of the
Focused
ordinary.
on this Loxodon.
Goodbye, neat little character development moment.
Uh-huh.
Goodbye.
Uh-huh.
Oh, damn it.
I'm sad.
Well, it's now your turn,
Uh-huh.
Galas. End it rightly.
If I can, yeah. I'm just gonna jump at, just tackle with my spines out. I rolled a 17.
That hits.
Woo! 5 damage.
5 damage has been taken.
I'll cast Misty Step to just kind of disappear into the water that's on the floor that's been pouring out of barrel the whole time, and appear next to it.
Yeah. Bibanise.
Bibanise will swing his warhammer. Ooh, a 10.
Total?
Yeah, 10 total.
No.
Yeah, so spiritual weapon next. That's a 20 to hit.
That definitely hits, yes.
And that is 9 damage. So I come across it and miss, and then I jerk with my 2 fingers with my shield hand, and kind of swipe across the back of this thing with the giant spectral maul.
Your spectral maul almost seems to cleave through it with how loosely this thing was holding itself together as it crumbles to the ground. Combat is over.
I like to imagine there's like some sort of silence that follows along with just this gushing water.
Yeah.
As Galas is lifting the barrel back up.
Yeah, I just slip it on my back and the water stops flowing.
Yeah.
And without turning to Galas, Bibanise says, "When I say do not touch anything, I mean do not touch." And I turn around. Anything.
Come on, big guy, we took him out. And look at all this treasure.
Zephan he's still standing there, he kind of falls back on his butt, just sitting on the ground with his knees bent and holding his face as blood's still kind of running out of his face. He's just looks a little shell-shocked.
Bibanise. Mm-hmm. You see there is something caught on your spiritual weapon since it hasn't been desummoned yet.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be a pendant or trinket of some kind. And as you reach out and grab it, do you?
Yes,
you grab it?
I definitely do.
As you grab it and you lift it up to inspect it, it is a symbol of Gond.
Elephants have a deep knowing that they share with each other, even so much that they could recognize bones or the scent of bones. Do I recognize this undead Loxodon?
Yes. It was one of your old tribe. Herd, I'm sorry. Herd, not tribe.
Bibanise doesn't fall to his knees, but he is large and thunderous. So he just kind of crouches down, sinks his knees into the dirt and dust, and he grabs this thing's skull and brings it up so that their foreheads touch. And he just lets out a low, moaning song as he slowly sways back and forth.
Zephan, you notice, you catch something in the corner of your eye as you're staring down at the floor, still kind of recovering from your daze. Mm-hmm. And then you look, and it is a small pool of water next to you, and as you look into it, you see yourself, but it's not blood pouring from, coming off of your face. It's almost like black ink. And that eye where you got hit is this sickly yellow, evil looking eye with corruption spreading across your face.
He gasps and scuttles back away from it and just covers his eyes and tries to grasp reality right now because he knows that can't be what his face looks like. And then I imagine he reaches into his pack to grab his mirror out because he has a mirror. I checked.
He is vain.
He holds it up to his face to make sure.
It's just your face.
With a gouge.
With a nice bleeding gouge in it, yeah.
He sighs and then, like, shakes his head to shake away whatever, like, that was, and starts, like, kind of touching the skin underneath the gouge to kind of see, like, should this be stitched? Can I wrap it? Like, trying to figure out how he can minimize this situation.
While you're doing that, Galas, since you're over next to the sarcophagus, like picking your barrel back up and resituating it on your back, you hear the slight dripping of water, as if it's falling from something. And you look up at the ceiling and there's no water up there. And you look down at the ground where your barrel has been gushing out, and you see in the fight at some point the sarcophagus was hit, and you see that there's a hole under it. And you see some of the water like falling down into the hole.
Hey, Bibanise, help me move this.
Bibanise continues his low moaning song.
Galas turns to him and looks at and sees that he's like mourning, and he's like,
Oh.
So I walk over, I place a fin on his shoulder because I can probably reach it when you're crouched, maybe. And
Sorry, big guy. Did you know him?
Yes, he was from my herd back home.
I wonder what he was doing here.
Life takes us many places. It brought me here. Why not also bring him here?
Well, now his body is at peace.
Yes. I take the skull away from my head and I lay it down on the ground. Rest well, Dajom. Then I stand up and look over at Zephan. Friend Zephan, how is your injury?
Zephan opens his mouth because he's about to, like, tell them what he saw in the water, but shuts it and thinks for a second. It's still bleeding. I don't know. I think I might need stitches or something.
Allow me. And I walk over and put a giant gray hand against the side of his face and cast Cure Wounds at first level. And I heal you for 3 damage.
Galas is gonna pop a potion out of a pouch on his belt and chug it. 6 health.
Yes, good healing.
Friend Galas, you wanted me earlier. Why I was mourning.
Yes, there's something under the sarcophagus. The water, it's dripping underneath.
I inspect this hole.
It seems to be some kind of staircase that is leading down under the sarcophagus.
I sling the shield over my shoulder, loop my warhammer on my belt, and then try to push this sarcophagus to the side.
Galas will assist.
Takes a little bit of effort, but you both easily push it aside and are hit with a gust of cold air coming from the unlit staircase under the sarcophagus that seems to go down into darkness. I don't remember if either of you have dark vision.
Yeah, I don't think I
don't
do.
believe so.
It me.
Eat me.
While they're doing this, though, Zephan is not over there helping them, as he's like still he's was fretting over his wound and kind of walking around, just trying to get his bearings, and he's looking around at all the jewels and gold and all that stuff, looking for anything that's beautiful. He doesn't necessarily care about its value, but he wants something that, if he sees something that's beautiful.
Roll an investigation check.
Oh boy.
Outside of your nice ornate quarterstaff that you have.
Yay, yeah. Yeah, I rolled a 9.
You do see there's a lot of treasure in this room. And one of the more ornate things you do find is a similar, like, snake statuette to the one that Galas found earlier.
Yoink. Take that.
Zephan, come on. We found a passageway.
He turns on his heel and marches over there and peers down the hole.
You see a long staircase that goes further than your superior dark vision even sees.
Yikes.
It's a long staircase.
And everyone roll a perception hearing, if that benefits anyone. It's a hearing test.
Got a 16.
8.
What did you get, David?
16.
So you and Galas both make out. It almost sounds like a low rumble or chanting of some kind that is echoing up from the staircase. It's very low and rhythmic, but you can't make out exactly what it says, as it just seems to continue to repeat. End of episode. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Next episode will be released on October 5th. Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at SinsOfThePod. If you need to contact us, you can send us an email to misconceptionspod@gmail.com. Sins of the Father is only possible thanks to y'all, so we'd appreciate it if you would spread the word about our show if you enjoy it. If you're feeling generous, you can always donate to us through our Patreon page. However you decide to help out, we greatly appreciate you for it. Sins of the Father is an actual play podcast using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition role-playing game by Wizards of the Coast. Sins of the Father is a part of the Misconceptions Podcast Network. That about covers it for now, and as always, keep rolling crits.